Welcome back to Sunset Field in Brush for game number 2 of our Tiger doubleheader here on KPMX and KPMX.com. I'm Bull Brom alongside John Beltran. Just underway in this one, Dustin Ferguson drew a leadoff walk against Ben Garrett, the starter for the Beat Diggers. We'll meet our starting lineups momentarily. Garrett out of the stretch, working against Caden Sheets, has missed north of the strike zone with 5 straight pitches to start the ball game.
Yeah, I got to wonder how his legs are doing. He did have a hamstring injury against Yuma, and a lot of times if your legs are not functioning, you keep the ball high.
Pitch delivered, and that one also misses high.
Yeah, I got to tell you right now, it doesn't look like a full follow-through using those legs, and that's what I think Ben right now needs to adjust, because like you mentioned, everything is high right now over the first 6 pitches.
Ferguson started, then stopped. There's a called strike. So 7 pitches in, Ben Garrett gets the first strike of the ball game. Pretty much the same lineup offensively for the Tigers. You'll see Dustin Ferguson, Caden Sheets, Daniel Thiessen, Chris Sherbart, Drew Book, Grayson Dudley 1 through 6. Ferguson took off early, and he just gifted the Beat Diggers an out, but instead Ben Garrett misses the throw to second. It sails into center field, and Dustin Ferguson will pick up the stolen base.
Well, he didn't lead well in the way he probably would have liked to, and if he leads him right into the tag. It still would have been a close play because Ferguson got an excellent jump, even though Garrett stepped off the back of the mound. But right now, Caden Sheets up there with a 2-1 count.
Pitch from Garrett is fouled off right side, out of play to even the count, 2-2. I do have it official from the Sterling dugout, 60 pitches for Trevor Roush. To get through that complete game.
That was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Ben Garrett, a 2-2 offering to Sheets, and again he'll waste one foul over the screen. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think Ben just needed some time to get those legs loose, because now he's bringing a little bit more and he's keeping it down. It's still up, but it's not as high as it was earlier.
2-2 offering, forthcoming from Garrett to Sheets, and that one's poked back up the middle for a base hit. Dustin Ferguson watched it through. Will have to stop at third. It'll be a single for Caden Sheets following the walk to Dustin Ferguson. Runners at the corners, nobody out for the Tigers. Again, this is a non-conference matchup between 2 Patriot League foes. Finishing the starting lineup for the Tigers, Castius Combs, Trevor Roush, and Chase Hume will be 7, 8, and 9. So the exact same lineup you saw in terms of offensive lineup. A few changes defensively, obviously, for the Tigers. Defensively for the Beat Diggers, Ben Garrett on the hill, Hunter Ludgate behind the plate. Bryson Woolridge at first, Braxton Shelton is at second. A pickoff throw to first nearly took the glove off Bryson Woolridge as he had to step into foul territory to corral that one. Alejandro, a.k.a. Hondo Maltos Garcia at third. I'm learning new things. Nick Wellen at shortstop, Caden Schwint in left, Carson Rule in center, and Kyle Wellen in right field. First pitch to Daniel Thiessen is in the upper edge of the strike zone, inside corner for a called strike. 0-1 on Thiessen. Runners at first and third, nobody out, no score. Top of the first inning.
And when Sterling gets a walk, it's almost like committing an error. They take advantage of these situations.
Garrett, the 0-1 to Thiessen. Big swing. No contact from Thiessen. He's behind 0-2. Jeff Squire has said that their goal is to break the school record for stolen bases. The school record, I believe, is 118. They're averaging just shy of 5 stolen bases a game right now. Toss over, Caden Sheets gets caught dancing off of first. He gets stuck in the rundown. The run will score as Dustin Ferguson comes in. Caden Sheets tries to slide back into first, but the tag is applied by the first baseman, Bryson Woolridge. So the same way Alamosa scored their first run of the ball game against Sterling, the Tigers score their first run of the ball game against the Brush Beat Diggers. Our first run of the game brought to you by First National Bank in Fleming. Make sure that you have your banking needs taken care of with First National Bank in Fleming, your teammate for financial assistance. Member FDIC. The 0-2 pitch was high to Daniel Thiessen.
That scored 1-3 to 6-3 on the pickoff of Caden Sheets. In case you're scoring.
I'm trying to, yeah. And a called strike 3 on Daniel Thiessen. He's retired for the second out of the inning.
Boy, that's a tremendous breaking ball thrown by Ben Garrett. It looked like you're having the same situation you did in the previous game, huh?
No, that was 1 to 6.
1 to 3 to 6 to 3 as Woldridge applied the tag.
Thank you.
Yep, 2 down.
At the plate, Chris Sherbarth inside corner for a called strike. No, I knew what to do to get the run to score this time.
Yeah, the thing
I just couldn't remember what the sequence of numbers was. The 0-1 pitch, one hopper back to the mound. Ben Garrett takes a step back, gloves, throws, and that'll do it for the Tigers. They get a run on a walk and a single and a caught stealing / stolen base-ish thing. 1-0 Tigers after a half inning on 105.7 KPMX. Tigers up 1-0, bottom of the first inning. Chris Sherbarth will get the start for the Tigers. Our starting lineup brought to you by Kuntz Pump and Well Supply. Your water system is an important part of your operation. Make sure it's performing at its peak. 970-522-2305. Sherbarth caught by Drew Book. Daniel Thiessen at first. Dylan Diorio at second. Chase Hume at third. Caden Sheets at short. Trevor Roush is in left. Dustin Ferguson in center. And Grayson Dudley in right field. For the Beat Diggers offensively, Carson Rule will lead things off. Braxton Shelton will bat second. Nick Wellen hitting third. Ben Garrett will bat in the cleanup spot. Alejandro Maltos Garcia will bat fifth. Bryson Woldridge hitting sixth. Hunter Ludgate batting seventh. Kyle Wellen, the right fielder, will bat eighth. And Caden Schwint, the left fielder, will bat ninth for the Brush Beat Diggers.
Your center fielder, number 24, Carson Rule.
Want to welcome some of our Brush area listeners that are joining us for tonight's broadcast. Since we don't have the game on 1010 KSIR, I stole John Beltran to keep me company today. Chris Sherbarth pours a fastball in at the belt to Carson Rule to get ahead 0-1.
Rule had 2 hits in the first game today against Bayfield.
0-1 offering. That one's painted on the outside corner. Quickly, Sherbarth gets ahead 0-2.
This guy's a master. 8 shutout innings against Eaton in a 1-0 9-inning victory.
We'll run through the season numbers for Sherbarth after he misses with the fastball high. 22 1/3 innings, 2 runs given up, 1 earned, 9 hits, 5 walks, 26 strikeouts. The 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Got Rule to chase one running away for his first strikeout of the ball game. That is a .31 ERA in 22 1/3 innings of work for Chris Sherbarth.
All right, I'm trying not to fall down laughing. That is so good. Braxton Shelton, he completed well over 500, 3 hits against Bayfield, including the game-winning RBI single at the bottom of the 8th inning.
First pitch to Shelton just misses inside for ball 1. I got a chance to cover Brush against Eaton on KSIR last week, on Tuesday, I guess it was. The 1-0 pitch. Below the knees, 2 balls and a strike to Shelton. Talk about an unassuming hitter in Braxton Shelton. He doesn't look like you're going to get much out of him, but there's a little pop in that bat.
There's tons of pop.
The 2-0 offering raises the top half of the zone. Sherbarth gets on the board, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 from Sherbarth. That one same spot, same call. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, he stretched out that zone horizontally. It might have been a tad outside, but that's going to be a strike in high school baseball.
The 2-2, down and in, 3 balls and 2 strikes. If there is one downside to Chris Sherbarth's game, it's that on occasion he will throw a touch too many pitches. The 3-2 pitch fouled off. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well,
and I say that only because in this situation he's nibbling a little.
Yeah, you just got to go right after him.
Another payoff pitch. That one again wasted foul. Good job by Braxton Shelton to hang in on a couple of tough pitches from Chris Sherbarth.
It's already a good inning for Brush, even though Rule struck out on 3 pitches, because now Shelton has seen 8 pitches going on 9.
Sherbarth. Another 3-2 offering. Just inside for ball 4.
I got to tell you, that was a major break. I thought it was strike 3, to be honest with you. I thought it got him at the knees. But Again, yeah. I mean, Kevin thought it was. What'd you think there, Bull?
I thought that was strike 3 all the way.
I think he got a major break.
I think you're right. I think Braxton thought it was strike 3 too.
Yeah, because he wasn't even going down to first until it was not called a strike.
1-0 Tigers. Bottom of the first inning. At the plate, the shortstop Nick Wellen.
Yeah, Wellen had a tough game against Bayfield, striking out 3 times. He did draw a walk.
Sherbarth fires to Hopper to third, knocked down by Hume off the chest, sets, fires to first. It'll be dug out by Daniel Thiessen, but it's not in time to get Nick Wellen. I don't know, John, do you go E5?
Oh, that's an E5, yeah, I get it. It hopped up on him, but you know what? You either got to come in or you got to back up, because that's the type of hop it took. You can't let that ball play you. It's a tough error, but it is an error.
Advancing the second on the play was Shelton. The first pitch to Ben Garrett called a strike. Big, strong hitter in the middle of this Brush lineup. Pitch to Garrett, rolled the other way to first. Thiessen will scoop it up and tag the bag to get the out. He'll watch the runners as they advance to third and second, respectively.
Yeah, this wind should die down. We just have some clouds rolling through. It'll die down with the Bee Diggers with 2 in scoring position here in the bottom of the first for Hondo.
But there's now 2 outs in the inning.
Alejandro Maltos Garcia.
Hondo, I thought, did a quality job on the hill against Eaton on Tuesday. He threw a ton of pitches and battled his command, but he kept him in check for 5 innings. Unfortunately, his offense couldn't give him any support. First pitch in there for a called strike from Chris Sherbarth. Sherbarth kicks and fires. Ball popped up into the teeth of the wind. Dylan DiOrio onto the cut of the outfield grass, makes the catch out at second to retire the side. 2 left in scoring position for Brush. 1-0 Tigers, top of the second inning from Sunset Field in Brush. Bull Braum alongside John Beltran as we start our second inning of play, and it's brought to you by Northeastern. If you're looking to become a full-time student at Northeastern, check out their upcoming Discovery Day, April 17th. Call the Office of Admissions 521-7000 or go to njc.edu. The offensive firepower for the Tigers over the last handful of ball games. Drew Book will lead things off. 9 runs batted in the last 2 games and 13 runs batted in over the last 4 games. Quite a stretch offensively for Drew Book as he'll step in against Ben Garrett and turn and burn one deep, back, and foul. Just foul.
Let me tell you,
about 10 feet.
I was like you, hesitating. I thought that thing was gone down the left field line, but he had so much twist on it that it went foul.
That wind is blowing out towards left. The 0-1 pitch, Book tried to do it again, and he chased one down and away, 0-2.
Very well located there by Garrett. Stayed out of Book's wheelhouse.
Garrett out of the windup. Kicks and delivers the 0-2 in the dirt. Check swing. Drew Book stays off. Appeal down to first. No swing. 1-2 the count on Book. Tigers were able to plate a run in the first inning on a caught stealing and a rundown. The 1-2 pitch inside. Tried to catch the breaking ball on the inside corner. Just missed it, Garrett. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Garrett's 2-2 offering to Book. Runs outside, and Drew, who started the countdown 0-2, has worked it back full. Give credit to Drew Book. He's turned the count back into his favor. The payoff pitch to Book, down low, ball 4. That's an exceptional bit of hitting by Drew Book, or lack of hitting there if you want to look at it that way. Down 0-2, Drew 4 straight out of the zone to draw the leadoff walk. Given the way Drew's been at the plate right now, I'm imagining that most teams are going to elect to bypass his bat and go after a guy like Grayson Dudley. Dudley steps in from the right side against Ben Garrett. The first pitch to Grayson. High strike to get ahead 0-1.
Obviously, the issue Ben Garrett's had is that he's walked the leadoff hitter in each of the first 2 innings.
Came back to bite him last inning. Dustin Ferguson would eventually come around to score. Drew Book, not afraid to swipe a bag. He's 9 for 9 this season. Pitch up, and a balk called on Ben Garrett.
That's a good call. He did.
He set and then moved momentarily.
Correct. That is correct. So
is ripped to second on a line, but right at Braxton Shelton, who makes the grab. Again, Castius Combs hit one on the button, but unfortunately couldn't get enough under it to get it over the head of Shelton. I'll bring the now left fielder and the star of game number 1, Trevor Roush, to the plate. If you're just joining us, Roush twirled a gem in game number 1, a 60-pitch complete game. He grounds out to third to end the second on a slow roller to the third baseman, Maltos Garcia. Tigers score a run, however. They lead it 2-0 after an inning and a half on 105.7 KPMX. 2-0 Tigers, bottom of the second inning from Sunset Field in Brush. The sun won't be setting for a little while yet. We did start about 15 minutes earlier than scheduled, which is a break from yesterday when we started about 15 minutes later than scheduled. Chris Sherbarth, for his second inning of work, will face Bryson Wooldridge, Hunter Ludgate, and Kyle Wellen. That is 6, 7, and 8 in the Brush lineup.
Bryson Wooldridge.
Wooldridge had a game-tying sacrifice fly in the 7th, which sent it to the 8th in a 1-run victory over Bayfield.
First pitch to Wooldridge. He'll chop it foul, first base side. No balls and a strike. Tigers sporting the road grays today. Gray tops, gray pants with the orange Tigers across the front. Pitch inside for a ball to Wooldridge, 1-1. Brush with those new home uniforms, bright gold with maroon trim. 1-1 in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike to Wooldridge. I really like those road uniforms for Brush, those white ones with the gold and maroon.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet. All I've done are the home games, but I hear they're really, really nice.
They're clean,
yeah,
as the kids would say.
Absolutely.
As the young people would say. 2-1 pitch to Wooldridge, finds the outside corner for a called strike, 2-2. I don't know what's going to happen when Bryson Wooldridge graduates, because I can always tell where he is on the field or on the court. 2-2 pitch is lined behind the bag at second. Good range by Diorio behind second to get to that ball, but there was no way he was going to get Wooldridge at first. It'll be a single for Bryson Wooldridge.
That's the first hit
Now batting
by the Beat Diggers, and it wasn't hit that sharply, but placed very nicely.
Think back up the middle, John.
That's it.
Especially against a guy like Chris Sherbarth, you've got to think up the middle. Small ball played by the Beat Diggers, bunt laid down. Sherbarth fields his position beautifully and fires a strike to second. With Caden Sheets covering the bag, Bryson Wooldridge forced out at second.
Yeah, and it wasn't really that close. Hunter's a pretty good bunter, but the pitch was up out of the zone. So you just want to make contact and then try to get that direction going. That's hard enough as well.
So Hunter Ludgate on at first now with 1 out. 2-0 Tiger advantage. Pitch is poked out towards center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Coming in, Ferguson. He'll fire it back in. Stopping at second is Ludgate. Couple of soft singles back up the middle in this inning by the Beat Diggers. They've out-hit the Tigers now 2-1, with Sterling with a 2-0 advantage. And we'll get a courtesy runner out to second for Ludgate.
Jace Krieger is out there for Brush, and he's got major wheels.
Now batting
Caden Schwint, the left fielder, will step in.
Caden
Schwint hitting just 200 coming into today's ball games. One of several freshmen on the roster for Brush this season. Pitch in there for a called strike from Chris Sherbarth.
Schwentz was 0 for 2 in the victory over Bayfield.
0-1 offering, popped up, right side of the infield. Daniel Thiessen underneath it, battling the wind as it swirls the ball around, but he makes the grab. The infield fly.
Yeah, called by the home plate umpire.
nonetheless.
Now batting, number 24, Carson Rule.
Wind continuing to buffet the field here in Brush. Few clouds starting to roll in. Pitch grounded deep in the hole at short. Caden Sheets scoops, throws, fires to third to get the force out of Krieger, who was trying to move up, and that'll do it. The Tigers strand a pair. They lead it 2-0 heading to the third. John Beltran with play-by-play when we come back on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. Top of the third inning brought to you by Equitable Savings and Loan. They'll keep you on top of your banking when you're on the road with their versatile mobile banking app. Find out more at equitable-savings.com. 2-0 Tigers here in the third. John Beltran will take over. Johnny.
Bull, thank you very much. Ben Garrett will face Chase Hume, Dustin Ferguson, and Caden Sheets. A run across for Sterling in each of the first 2 innings. As the right-handed hitting third baseman steps in with an open stance here for the Tigers. And the right-hander Ben Garrett delivers, and that's upstairs. For Garrett, that was his 32nd pitch unofficially. 1 ball and no strikes. And the offering, that's there for a strike down the middle, thigh high with a fastball, and the count levels at 1-1. 2 runs on 1 hit for Sterling, no runs on 2 hits for Brush. And the pitch. Swung on, grounded left side foul down the third base side. As you can tell, the wind continues to whip up. One of the stories of this game is that Sterling has not stranded a runner through 2, but Brush has stranded 4. So the Beat Diggers have actually had opportunities against Sherbarth. But the funny thing, even though they've stranded 4, you never felt that Brush was going to overtake them, at least early on. It might take a while. Here's the wind, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and hit on the ground slowly toward short. Wellen charges, gloves. He throws to first in time, and Hume is retired. Excellent play by the junior shortstop, Nick Wellen. And there's 1 down on that half swing here in the top of the third inning. And that'll bring up Dustin Ferguson. Ferguson walked his first time up.
Came around to score the first run of the ball game.
And the pitch squaring to bunt. It's upstairs to Dustin Ferguson. Sterling has lost just 1 game this year. That was to Fort Morgan 6-5. Inside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Ferguson committed this past week to McPherson College in Nebraska to continue his academic and athletic career.
Goes to 3-0, the pitch up and away.
Tigers have scored 2 runs on just 1 hit so far.
Ludgate lays down the sign, the pitch, and he grooved that in there, but it's low. And I believe that's the second 4-pitch walk, maybe the third 4-pitch walk issued by Ben Garrett. So, yeah, when he loses it on a hitter, at least so far, it just gets away from him. Here's Caden Sheets.
Well, 2 of those 4-pitch walks have gone to the leadoff man, Dustin Ferguson, because Ben missed with 4 straight to start the game against Ferguson. Missed with 6 straight, actually.
That's a fastball down and away. That's 5 consecutive balls thrown by the right-hander. Sheets had the only base hit for Sterling, which came in the opening frame. 2-step lead for Ferguson. And Garrett delivers. Swung on, grounded right back to Garrett. He goes to second for 1. Wellen to first, and that's a 1-6-3 double play. And that does it for Sterling here in the top of the third. We head to the bottom of the third. Sterling 2, Brush nothing on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com.
2-0 Tigers, bottom of the third inning, and it's brought to you by Mr. D's Ace Home Center. As you get ready for the warmer weather, your yard is your pride and joy, so get all the lawn care tools you need at Mr. D's in Sterling Brush in Fort Morgan.
Braxton Shelton walked and was stranded. He'll lead off here in the third against Chris Sherbarth, the left-hander. The Beat Diggers had 2 hits in the second inning, but did not score any of them. Shelton had 3 hits in the opening game. Wind and pitch, swung on, chopped foul to the left of the plate, right off of his foot. No balls and 1 strike on Braxton Shelton. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 for the Beat Diggers in the third, followed by Wellen and Garrett. Good opportunity here for the Beat Diggers to get on the board. The offering is a strike on the outside corner. Took something off of that. And the count goes to 0-2. And Sherbarth is not wasting any time. Wants to work quickly. Gets a sign from Drew Book. And Shelton even closer to the plate. The pitch in the dirt. Ball 1, strike 2 to the Beat Diggers second baseman, only a freshman.
That is Sherbarth's MO. He likes to work quickly.
Here comes his 32nd pitch of the game. Here it is. Swung on and fouled back. And Shelton's the one who has extended him the most. It was a 9-pitch plate appearance his first time up. This will be his 5th pitch, so essentially 13 of the 32 pitches have been to the same batter. 1-2 here to Shelton. And he kicks and fires up and away with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-0 Sterling, bottom 3. A run in the first, a run in the second. Again, Book lays down the sign. And the pitch swung on and lifted into left center field. The outfielders will try to converge, but that's got some carry to it way back. And a basket catch shy of the track by Trevor Roush. They were playing in with the wind blowing in. And Roush was able to pull it in. And again, as you mentioned, there's some pop in that Shelton bat. And even Bull with the wind blowing in, he gave it a little bit of a ride.
He gave that way more of a ride than I thought it was going to be. And maybe if the wind's not blowing in, that thing's got a chance to make it to the fence.
Nick Wellen reached on an air.
Yeah.
On the third. On the air by the third baseman, Chase Hume. Swung on. That has popped up into shallow right field. And roaming to his right, ranging under and making the catch is Dudley. And there's 2 down. Again, a wind-aided fly ball in terms of it blowing in, but a nice job of the second baseman, Dylan DiOrio, actually pointing to that baseball and directing his outfielder to where he should run to make that catch.
Garrett.
Tip your cap to Trevor Roush on that catch in the gap off the bat of Shelton, because there's not a lot of kids, I think, make that play at this level. I don't think there's a lot of left fielders that run that down.
Beautiful play. First pitch
center fielders maybe, but a left fielder in that at that angle, playing that far in to get back and make that catch, that's...
Yep. First 2 pitches to Garrett were high, grounded to first in his first plate appearance. And the 2-0. Swung on and driven down the right field line. That's going to be a long run, and that's going to drop for a base hit for Ben Garrett, the 3rd hit for the Beat Diggers, as Dudley kept racing to the line, but again, it was twisting nearly into foul territory, but it's a 2-out single for Garrett. And that will send up Hondo, and the courtesy runner will be Hunter Dunn for Brush over at first base. Giving up hits is one thing, but the one thing that Sherbarth does, he doesn't give up hits in 0-out situations, it seems. A 2-out hit here. He did a couple of 1-out hits earlier, and that fastball is upstairs. Hondo popped to the infield. His first time up. Again, the wind continues to sweep in from the outfield. And the 1-0 upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 Sterling, bottom 3. I'm John Beltran with the Hall of Famer Chris Bull Brom, Coach Fergus along with us, the Brush head baseball coach the last 4 years. Just learning the I score. Swing and a miss. Looked like a changeup or some type of sinking action. And it's 2-1.
Sherbarth, he doesn't...
2-1. Swung on, grounded slowly, left side, charging is Hume. He might not have a play, and he won't have a play. That's a base hit. Hondo has a base hit, the 4th hit for Brush. 2 down, 2 on now for Bryson Wooldridge. He had one of those soft flares up the middle. That was the first of 4 hits the Beat Diggers were able to generate.
Chase Hume had that ball pop out of his glove when he picked it up, but even without that, there's no way he got Hondo at first.
Yeah, it was too much of a dribbler. And the offering. That's a strike, top of the zone there. Wooldridge thought it might have missed. No balls and 1 strike. Done at second. Matos Garcia at first. The Beat Diggers trailing by 2 here in the bottom of the 3rd in Brush. And the left-hander for Sterling delivers. Swing and a miss. Chris Sherbarth with 44 pitches, 30 of those are strikes.
None of the 4 hits have been squared up by Brush.
Yeah, except the Garrett. He went the other way, which is pretty nice, but you're right, the others were not squared up at all. And the 0-2 outside. Ball 1, strike 2 to Bryson Wooldridge. Chris Sherbarth only has one strikeout in the game, and maybe that speaks to what you said earlier, that he's not as much in command. The pitch swung on, hit off the end of the bat on the ground to the first base side. Thiessen fields, tosses to the pitcher covering in time, and the Bead Diggers are retired in the bottom of the third inning. For Brush, no runs on 2 hits, no errors and 2 men left. 3 complete in Brush. The Sterling Tigers lead the Brush Bead Diggers 2-0 on this final game of this tournament on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. Let's head to the 4th inning here. Sterling leads Brush 2-0. Daniel Thiessen will step in. And Ben Garrett, the right-hander, comes home. That's a strike. Just above belt level, it's 0-1. Thiessen struck out looking his first time up. Here's the wind and the pitch. And a check swing, and it's upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike again. Sterling only has 1 hit. That came from Caden Sheets in the first inning. But it doesn't matter. They've got 2 runs in this game. And the 1-1. That looked like it hit the top of the zone. There's a little bit of inconsistency here on this particular sequence. That looked like the same exact as the first pitch. Ball 2, strike 1. And the offering. Yeah, that's up and in. 3 balls and 1 strike. Sterling has had base runners on in every inning. And now it's 3-1 here to Daniel Thiessen. 3, 4, and 5 in the 4th inning. The pitch, and he short armed that, and he fell down because you can't fall up. And he slipped on the mound, and it's a walk to Daniel Thiessen. And here is Chris Sherbarth.
Call 522-0471. Make sure you're ready for the eventually warmer summer months. Get great service on your air conditioner from your local Lennox dealer, Bailey Mechanical in Sterling.
Righty against lefty, the pitch. Swung on and chopped foul up the first base side for Garrett. That's the 4th walk he's issued. All it does is drive up the pitch count. Yeah, I'm looking for warm right now, Bull. Wow. It's getting to me now. No balls and 1 strike. This wind is whipping straight at us. No balls, 1 strike to the second hitter of the 4th inning. Sterling 2, Brush nothing. Very conservative lead at first for Thiessen. Sherbarth awaits the pitch, up and away. Well, this gives you the true condition out here in Brush. And again, you can look at all the flags in the outfield. 380 straight away. That U.S. flag is just whipping. And the 1-1. Runner going, swung on, grounded to first. Wooldridge has got it, looks to second, will have to step on the bag. Thiessen advances to second. And they get the first out of the inning, but that's a nice hit and run. If not, that would have been a double play.
Right. Yeah, you start the runner there and you at least avoid the double play. I know Wooldridge thought maybe he had a chance to get the out at second, but with Thiessen's speed, I know he doesn't look particularly fast, but he takes big strides and is able to eat up a lot of ground in a hurry.
Here is Drew Book, walked his first time up, and he swings and lines it towards center field. That's going to be a base hit. Thiessen held up. I don't think he's going to be able to score. No, he's going to round third, then he's going to be held up. Yeah, I don't know why Thiessen thought he'd be able to score on that one unless that was in the gap, because if he goes right off contact, he's scoring easily, but I don't think he thought Carson Rule was playing that deep. So it's Sterling's second hit of the game, and first and third for Grayson Dudley, and that ball was scorched into center.
Head coach Jeff Squire was coaxing him around third and gave him the late stop sign. I think he flashed back to that run he cost his team against Alamosa earlier today.
Grayson Dudley is 0 for 1. Let's see if Book takes off. He will not. Swung on, grounded slowly left side. The third baseman Hondo looks at third, throws to second for the force to first. That's going to be late, but the runner stays at third. I don't think it was a double play grounder, even though Shelton threw to first. But nonetheless, a good job of the Bead Diggers holding the Tigers to runners at the corners, or having that same situation now with 2 down. So the fielder's choice, again, 5-4. And now the Tigers need a 2-out hit in order to get on the board. Castius Combs is 0 for 1, and he takes a strike on the inner half. No balls and 1 strike, belt high to Castius Combs. Combs lined out to the second baseman Shelton his first time up. Casties has had some good at-bats today, going back to the last game against Alamosa.
He's barreled stuff up all day today.
He had 2 hits in that game. The offering upstairs with a fastball, and the count levels at 1-1.
Honestly, if you need a 2-out hit here to score a run, I think there's few people in the order you'd like to have up other than Castius Combs, just with the way he's been hitting the ball.
1 ball and 1 strike. Runner takes off. Garrett steps off the back of the mound. Is that going to be a balk?
It is.
Yep. It is going to be a balk. And scoring is going to be Daniel Thiessen. The Tigers now lead 3-0. And I wonder, Ben Garrett's wondering what he did. He thought he might have stepped just off the back of the mound, but if there was any movement prior to that indicating that he was coming home or going to first, that would constitute a balk. Nonetheless, that's a big call against Brush because now the Tigers have tacked on a run, and that came with 2 down here in this 4th inning.
And there's a reason the Tigers like to break early like that, because it generally will induce a balk, or at the very least forces a team out of their element.
Fouled back on the fastball in the inner half. Count goes to 1-2.
Kev had your back all the way, John.
Yeah, I know.
He was there for you.
Kevin is made of skin and wire. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's a superhero.
Combs awaits the pitch, and here it is. Swung on and fouled back. That was pitch number 55 unofficially for Ben Garrett. Little struggle, 30 strikes and 25 balls unofficially.
Yeah, that's not the ratio you'd like, but
he's battling, down 3-0. And the pitch, and he's short on that. That skips away from Ludgate up the first base side. Throw to third, and that's going to be late. That'll be a wild pitch. And advancing to third is Dudley.
That was an ill-advised throw by Ludgate. There was no way you were going to get the runner at third. Why risk throwing it down the line and allowing another run to score?
Anytime the ball slips away, unless the runner trips over himself, you just got to eat it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 across a man at third. The pitch, swing and a miss, and he's got to throw to first because that ball hit the dirt, and that will record the strikeout, and that will end the inning. However, the Tigers are back on the board in this 4th inning. They get a run on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left at third. Let's head to the bottom of the 4th in 1 minute to score. Sterling 3, Brush nothing. You're listening to Sterling Tiger Baseball on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. The pitch to Ludgate is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes in the bottom of the 4th inning. Sterling 3, Brush nothing. Along with Chris Bullbrom, I'm John Beltran. Chris Sherbarth delivers, swinging a foul to the screen. Ludgate hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Sherbarth has given up 4 hits, but really only 1 of them has been hit hard.
And only 2 strikeouts for Sherbarth.
And that's a strike. Upper part of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
For a guy averaging more than a strikeout an inning, that's a little unusual.
Wind and pitch. Down and in with a fastball. The count levels at 2-2. Only 1 walk, though, issued by Sherbarth. So if you're not on, at least you want to keep the ball in the strike zone, which he has. That was pitch number 50. Gets the sign. 2-2. That's down and away. Looked like a changeup. Ball 3, strike 2. Ludgate, Wellen, and Schwint. That's Kyle Wellen. 7, 8, and 9 for Brush. Here at the bottom of the 4th inning. Kicks and fires. And that is a called strike 3 on the inside corner. Strikeout number 3 for Chris Sherbarth, and I thought that was located well. In fact, I thought that was the same location that was ball 4 to Braxton Shelton.
Exactly.
So, I don't think it was a makeup call. I think that was legitimately a strike, even though the bat went flying by Ludgate thinking he had walked, but to me that was a strike.
Brush faithful not happy with the call.
Here's Kyle Wellen. He singled his first time, and that's up and away, took something off it. 1 ball and no strikes. The Tigers with single runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th inning. We're in the bottom of the 4th. And the southpaw comes home. Swung on in line towards right center field, more than likely finding a gap. It's a base hit. Again, the wind caused it to drop right in front of Grayson Dudley. Wellen is now 2 for 2, the 5th hit for the Bean Diggers. They just have to convert one of those into runs, but right now Sherbarth is doing the job, throwing some clutch pitches, holding that 3-0 advantage. Here's Caden Schwint. Schwint popped out his first time up. And Sherbarth looks at first, comes home. That's a strike. Fastball, thigh high. on the outer part of the plate. No balls and 1 strike.
The location's been good from Sherbar throughout this ball game.
And the squaring to bunt, and it's taken outside. 1-1, more than halfway to 110, and more than halfway in this game with 1 out of the bottom of the 4th inning.
And about a 50% ball to strike ratio for Sherbarth.
Caden Schwind awaits the pitch. Here it is, squaring to bunt, and it went behind him off the glove of Book to the screen. And to second, the throw's going to be made. Again, I don't know if you should be making that throw. Nonetheless, to second on the wild pitch is Kyle Wellen. Again, that's another situation that it's going to be a 1% chance that you even
not
nail the runner.
Not only was it late, but that was a no-look throw. Like, literally, Drew picked it up, fired to second without even looking to see where the throw was going to go.
2 balls and 1 strike, squaring to bunt, and he takes it for a strike. Throw back to second, and that's a pretty good throw there, and tagged high, but back in to second is Kyle Wellen. That's a strong arm displayed there by Drew Book, but Schwind missed that bunt altogether. It was a perfect pitch to bunt.
And I think Wellen underestimated the arm of Drew Book there.
The 2-2 offering, that's up and away. Ball 3, strike 2 to Caden Schwind. Carson Rule is on deck, and Chris Sherbarth comes home. Swing and a miss. Boy, he pulled a string. 2nd strikeout of the inning. 4 strikeouts in the game for Sherbarth, and 2 down here for Carson Rule, who was struck out and grounded into a fielder's choice. All right, I asked this to Coach Fergus. He really didn't respond to me. If this is your walk-up song, have you seen Smokey and the Bandit a few times? Because you got to see Smokey and the Bandit, right?
I would think so. I mean, why else would this be your walk-up song?
That's a base hit into left field from Carson Rule. To third is Kyle Wellen. And credit the Beat Diggers here. They're teeing off a little bit now against Chris Sherbarth. That is 6 base hits, and that one was hit pretty hard into left field. Yeah, that's a classic movie. Well, I know it was several years before you were born. But if that's your
Smokey
walk-up
and the Bandit several times.
Okay, good.
I love Smokey and the Bandit.
Here's been the best hitter all season for the Beat Diggers, Braxton Shelton. He walked and hit that deep fly ball that was flagged down on a basket catch by Trevor Roush. He can give the Beat Diggers a run here. And the offering. And he swings and grounds it left side. Going to be a tough play. It's a base hit into left field beyond the diving sheets. Scoring is Kyle Wellen. Braxton Shelton, who had 3 RBIs against Bayfield, drives in his first run of this game, the first run by the Beat Diggers. And the Sterling lead is down to 3-1.
Little seeing eye single on the left side of the infield there from Shelton. Just out of the reach of Caden Sheets.
Here is Nick Wellen.
Don't have to hit it hard, just hit it where they ain't.
And the pitch, and that is low. 1 ball and no strikes. Wellen is 0 for 2, reached on an air, and then flew out to right field. Off of second is Rule, Shelton at first. And the 1-0. And the breaking ball's a strike. Excellent pitch on the outside corner at the knees. And the count levels at 1-1. Sterling with a 2-run lead. They're being out hit 7-2, but the Tigers know how to economize. And the offering swung on and chopped off the foot. That's a foul ball off the foot of Wellen. Out into fair territory. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The one thing that Brush is benefiting from here, this is a deep pitch count in this 4th inning from Sherbarth. He's still okay at 65 pitches.
Right.
But he wants to get out of this inning pretty quickly now. If not, he's going to find some danger in the 7th in terms of finishing off the game himself. Drew Book readjusting that catcher's mask. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. 1 in for Brush in the bottom of the 4th inning. Drew Book lays down the sign. This is the number 3 hitter in the Brush lineup. The pitch swung on and lifted down the left field line and way out of play. In fact, it'll sail over the fence. And the count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nick Wellen.
Give Nick credit on that one. That was...
that's a pitcher's pitch. He threw a heck of a pitch.
That was a curveball down and in to a right-handed batter, and he found a way to get the barrel of the bat on that.
Even though Sherbarth has given up 7 hits, it's fun to watch him work. The stretch and the 1-2. Swung on, laced on the ground up the middle for a base hit. Rounding third and attempting to score. Nope, Schwind's going to be held up. Check that, that's Carson Rule, and the bases are loaded. The Beat Diggers have picked up 4 hits in the inning. And the bases are loaded for Ben Garrett, who is grounded out and singled. So Brush has half of their hits in this inning alone. This is a stunner that Sterling has a 2-run lead and has 6 fewer hits in the game. However, they take advantage of a balk. They know how to play small ball. They run the bases well, wind and pitch, and that's upstairs with a fastball. Took something off it. 1 ball and no strikes.
One of the hardest hits in this ball game of the 8 for Brush was that opposite field single by Ben Garrett his last time up.
And he swings and laces it foul off to the right out of play.
And that's a good approach from Ben. He's trying to wait back and go the other way against the lefty.
Yeah, there's no doubt, as you mentioned earlier, the first few hits they had off of Sherbarth were not too hard, but these have been hit hard in this inning. 1-1 pitch, and he takes it for a strike, tailing away on the outside corner, thigh high, and the count moves to 1-2.
Here's where Chris has struggled today, putting hitters away with 2 strikes.
Rule, Shelton, and Wellen, third to first, the pitch, up and away. Boy, that was evidence right there. Drew Book did a nice job coming out of his crouch and just backhanding that. If not, that would have gone to the screen. But again, there's only about 15 feet, if even that, of ground between the catcher and the backstop with that board. And the 2-2. Swung on and laced for a base hit into right field. 1 run's going to score. Rounding third is Shelton. There might be a play. The throw, the tag, the slide. He's out. Out at the plate. A run scores on the RBI single from Garrett, but a nice tag applied by Book. 5th inning, 2 runs on 5 hits. There were no errors and 2 men left. 4 complete. In Brush, Sterling 3, Brush 2 on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. Trevor Roush begins the 5th, and he takes it low from Ben Garrett. 3-2. Brush trails Sterling after they scored 2 runs in the 4th. Nice play, 9-3-2, started by Grayson Dudley off the base hit from Garrett, cutting down the second runner, Braxton Shelton, at the plate. And that pitch is upstairs from Garrett. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Brush had 5 of their 9 hits in that inning. Yeah, they really squared up Chris Sherbarth, and that's a strike. Wow.
Oof.
That's a gift strike from Garrett. For Garrett, that is 2-1. That looked like ball 3 up and in.
Ben had to sit for quite some time during that inning.
Swung on and driven in the air for a base hit into left center field in front of Carson Rule, who is ranging over to his right. And Trevor Roush has picked up the 3rd hit for Sterling. And that'll send up Chase Hume, who grounded to short in his first plate appearance.
If your vehicle's giving you fits, let Transwest service team help you upgrade said vehicle. Tires, oil changes, even warranty work. 1200 West Main and Sterling. Details online, TranswestChevroletBuick.com.
Again, the one thing the Sterling Tigers have done very well in this game, throw back to first back in diving is Roush. They've gotten the leadoff man almost every inning. The Beat Diggers have needed some 2-out thunder, all 5. Yeah, thank you, Coach. 4 the 5. Yeah, 4. And the offering squaring to bunt, lays it down out in front of the plate. Garrett's going to barehand it, and he'll throw to first for the out. Successful sacrifice, 1-3 by Chase Hume, and Roush advances to second. And back to the top of the order, Dustin Ferguson,
who has seen 8 pitches, all of them out of the zone today.
Got a couple of bobs. Bases on balls. Tool or irredeemable tool for those that who says a bob for base on balls?
Irredeemable.
Swung on and lifted down the left field line, but that's twisting foul. I agree. Yeah, there's another word instead of tool, but that keeps us as clean as possible on air.
That keeps us from getting a call from the FCC.
Yeah. Are you getting cold? You're getting those fingers. You're trying to warm up.
My fingers are getting a little chilly.
My right hand is being affected right now. My left hand holding onto the phone. I think the electricity of the phone is keeping my left hand warm. And the 0-1 swung on. That ball is driven foul off to the left. Late swing there by Ferguson.
Look out in the Brush dugout.
No balls and 2 strikes. Well, now, second year, they've had that fence out in front to protect the players.
Although we still, last night in that Bayfield game, one of the Bayfield players got pegged with a foul ball, but he was also standing outside the fence.
That is popped foul and out of play off to the left behind the Digger dugout on the third base side. And the count remains at 0-2. 3-2 Sterling. We're in the top of the 5th inning.
Say that 10 times fast. Digger dugout.
Oh, I've said that twice. No, I can't do it 3 times.
Hot shot, hit foul.
Oh, you don't want to say that even once. Garrett comes home. Swung on and lifted to left field. Caden Schwint has a beat on it to his right. And he'll make the grab for the second out. Back to second is Roush. Here in the top of the 5th inning. And that'll send up Caden Sheets, who is singled and grounded out. He's 1 for 2.
Tigers are at least starting to get the barrel on the ball against Garrett. Only 3 hits to show for it, but they have a 3-2 lead.
And that changeup is low. 1 ball and no strikes. The Tigers looking for another run here, up 3-2. The offering swung on line. That's going to be a base hit into right center field. Rouse will round third, and he's going to score easily on the RBI single from Caden Sheets, his second hit of the game. And Sterling now leads 4-2 in the 5th inning. Nice swing. I mean, he went inside out there, and the sophomore found the alley.
I have been impressed with Caden ever since last season. To take the starting job as a freshman at shortstop and hit the way he hit last year, he's been very impressive his first 2 years.
Here's Daniel Thiessen, struck out and walked. And Sheets looks like he's about to take off. Throw back to first, but it's up the first base side. Back in standing is Caden Sheets.
If I remember correctly, he hit like .313 last year in his freshman year. Plays quality defense at shortstop.
The pitch. That's a strike right there down the middle. Thigh high to Daniel Thiessen. No balls and 1 strike. I'm John Beltran with Chris Brom. Coach Fergus alongside with the iScore tutorial. I think he's getting better at that now. And the pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Thiessen thought now a delayed steal. Sheets to second, the slide, the tag. Out! As the tag is applied by Nick Wellen. And that will end the inning, but the Tigers get on the board. They get a run on 2 hits, no errors and nobody left. 4 1/2 complete. It's Sterling 4, Brush 2 on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning in Brush. Sterling 4, Brush 2. And Chris Sherbarth will face Alejandro Maltos Garcia, Bryson Wooldridge, and Hunter Ludgate, 5, 6, and 7.
I don't say it as well as you do, John.
Well, it's my Latino heritage. Hondo is 1 for 2. And the offering swung on, line towards center field, coming on right there and making the play as Dustin Ferguson had to come in a couple of steps. Nice swing by Hondo, but Sherbarth gets the first hitter, and that's been a key for Sterling here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That'll send up Bryson Wooldridge, who is singled and grounded to first.
And you mentioned that, John. Sterling has gotten the leadoff man on all 5 innings on offense, and Chris Sherbarth has given up base runners, but generally it's been with 1 or 2 outs in the inning. He's avoided giving up the leadoff base runner.
Big difference, and the breaking ball is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Here to Bryson Wooldridge. Book lays down the sign, and the pitch, and that's a strike, tailing away. And the count levels at 1-1. We'll see if Sherbarth gets a little bit stronger here because he gave up 5 hits in the 4th inning. But he has a 2-run advantage. The pitch swung on and grounded slowly to short. Sheets has to charge. Fields throws high to first, and the tag applied and out. What a play by Thiessen. He got Wooldridge on his back, his upper back, as he was running by. And that's an outstanding play really on both ends.
Yeah, that was a hard charge for Caden Sheets. He had to get rid of it quickly. Daniel Thiessen's done that a couple of times this year where he's very aware of where the base runner is and has been able to come off, make the grab and the tag in one motion.
I got very nervous there during that description. I'll tell you why in a second. The pitch down and in. Try to say Sheets charges, okay? All right? I said that, and I didn't mess that up.
That's right, exactly.
1 ball and no strikes.
Way too many shushes in there.
And a pitch. That's taken for a strike down the middle at the knees. 0 for 2 is Ludgate. Hit into a fielder's choice and struck out looking. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, the bases empty in the 5th. 4-2 Sterling. And the offering. That's upstairs. Threw him a changeup. It is 2-1. This might be the first inning that Sherbarth retires the Bead Diggers in order. And the offering. And that is a strike on the outside corner at the knees. And the count levels at 2-2.
Certainly needs to at this point. He's 78 pitches deep.
And the offering outside. Brush 1 pitch away from extending the inning. It'll be a payoff pitch coming up here to Hunter Ludgate, the number 7 hitter in the Brush lineup. He kicks and fires, swung on and lifted into foul territory. That's going to be out of play. Thiessen giving chase, but it sails over the fence.
Once that got up into the teeth of the wind, there was no chance that was staying in play.
You know, it's funny because there's teeth of the wind, but we've never seen teeth in the wind. So it's
right.
a figure of
It's a
speech.
different thing.
Right.
But we've seen colors in the wind.
That's very true. And the 3-2. That's outside, and Ludgate walks. So Hunter Ludgate, I believe, only the second beat digger to walk.
Let's double check that, Johnny B, shall we?
Yeah, that's number 2 is what I got. Sherbar, that's 3 strikeouts. Caden Moriarty will be the courtesy runner.
Every time I hear that name, I think of...
13, Kyle Wellen.
Think of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Moriarty.
There we go. Kyle Wellen is 2 for 2. He's got 2 of the 9 hits for the Beat Diggers. And the pitch swung on, grounded left side. The shortstop Sheets to his right will make the long throw to first, and that is just in time. Nice play by Caden Sheets in the hole, and he retires Kyle Wellen. Wellen retired for the first time today. Chris Bullbrom will take you through innings 6 and 7. 5 complete and Brush. Sterling 4, Brush 2. This is 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com.
Game Tigers on top as we head to the top of the 6th inning. I'm Bull Braum alongside John Beltran here on KPMX and KPMX.com. Not KSIR and KSIR.com, John.
Well, we'll have Brush Beat Digger Baseball coming up Tuesday at 4 o'clock against the Lyman Badgers on your family of Northeast Colorado broadcasting stations. Brush and Lyman Tuesday, so you got baseball this week as well.
I've got Sterling at Valley on Tuesday. We'll run through that schedule during our post-game wrap-up. Daniel Thiessen to lead things off against Ben Garrett. Tigers looking for their 8th win to start the year. 8-1 would match their start from 2 years ago. The first pitch to Thiessen fouled back to the screen for strike 1. Thiessen 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. In fact, the Tigers went 8-1 to start 2018. I guess that was last year, excuse me. And then lost 3 in a row to Eaton, Rez, and Valley. The 0-1 pitch misses high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Thiessen.
Yeah, thus confirming that this year is 2019.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get. The 1-1 pitch to Thiessen. That one finds the inside corner. Good location from Ben Garrett. 1 and 2.
He's battled, but again, he's only allowed 4 hits.
The damage has been done on the base paths by the Tigers today. The 1-2 offering, Bender inside. Jackknifes Thiessen out of the way. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The only RBI came last inning on the run-scoring single from Caden Sheets. The 2-2 pitch ripped to right field for a base hit. Daniel Thiessen goes the other way and collects his team's 5th base knock of the ballgame. That'll bring Chris Sherbarth to the plate. Chris 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts, 1 to second, 1 to the pitcher. Head coach Jeff Squire referred to him as a Vlad Guerrero type hitter. He'll swing and miss at one right down the middle, and then he'll scoop one right off the top of the plate and hit it to the fence. He'll drive one down the right field line, but it's going to hook foul. He was just a hair out in front.
That's a nice break there, because if Sherbar straightens that out,
that's extra bases easily.
Yeah. Especially down that tricky right field line in Brush, which has a slope along there. And
Did you know there was a slope down that right field line?
Yeah, I found out about 15 years ago. Swale, is that what it is, Coach? Okay, Swale.
All right. Pitch, delivered line over the head of the second baseman, Shelton, and into center field for a base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Tigers. Thiessen stops at second.
Now batting number 22, Drew Book.
And not the guy you want to see at the plate right now if you're the Beat Diggers with 2 on, and that's going to prompt a visit from Tom Odell, the head coach of the Beat Diggers. Drew Book has been on some kind of offensive tear the last few ball games. 9 runs batted in this tournament. From last night to today, he's 1 for 1 with a walk and a single.
and he really doesn't have a zone that he can, that can be exploited. He hits balls very well, maybe up and in a little bit when he struck out against Fort Morgan to close out Fort Morgan's 6-5 victory. They kind of tied him up.
He will chase fastballs up.
I know they look enticing, yeah.
Which is not unusual for a big power hitter like that, because a big fastball up makes it look like a beach ball. Thiessen off a second, Sherbarth away from first. The first pitch to Book after the visit to the mound is in there for a called strike. I've been so impressed with the strides that Drew Book has made from last year to this year in terms of offense and defense. He's become a leader of this team. Pitch misses high, 1 ball and 1 strike in just his junior year. Tigers will be happy to have his services for at least 1 more year. The 1-1 pitch misses down and away, 2-1.
Well, this is going to be a money pitch now for Ben Garrett. 2 on, nobody out for Sterling. They're up by 2, and you've got a big, strong hitter who can extend the lead very easily.
The 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and there was the money pitch from Ben Garrett. He pulled the string and got Drew Book over the top to even the count at 2-2. Drew was looking for a fastball on that 2-1 pitch. The 2-2 offering, runners on the move, and misses high. The throw down to third. It goes in and out of the glove of Hondo. It'll be a double steal executed by the Tigers, and a 3-2 count on Drew Book. There's 2 things the Tigers do well. It's the double steal and the early break to induce the balk. Infield comes in for Brush. Nobody out. The 3-2 pitch, high, ball 4. Chris Sherbarth was literally halfway and then some to third base with his secondary lead with the infield in. Bases loaded now for the Tigers. Nobody out. Grayson Dudley at the plate. Corners will remain in. The middle of the infield will back into double play depth. Outfield remains straight away and shallow for Dudley. First pitch from Garrett misses the top of the zone for ball 1.
Yeah, I'm thinking Garrett's thinking that. I think the strike zone's been really inconsistent today, to be honest with you.
It has been fluid.
Good word.
The 1-0 offering to Dudley. He'll drive one to left center field. That one's going to find the gap and roll all the way to the fence. Thiessen scores easily. Sherbarth around third. He's going to slide in just ahead of the throw. A 2-run double for Grayson Dudley, and he stretches the Tiger lead. They're up 6-2.
He found the gap there, and there was no doubt. And let me tell you,
Now batting number 30, Cassius Combs.
Book was on Sherbarth's tail on his horse there.
Well, Sherbarth retreated back to second, thinking that might be run down in the gap. Drew Book never broke stride.
No.
And he was nipping at Sherbarth's heels the whole way.
That's the one thing I did notice based on what you said earlier. Book is a big guy, but he can run. He runs well.
He's a very athletic young man. He's a 3-year starter at linebacker for the Tiger football team. Obviously, he's qualified all 3 years for the state tournament in wrestling and was named to several all-conference squads and things like that last year in baseball as well. So he certainly has all the tools that you look for in a high school baseball player.
All right, the changes here are as follows. Carson Rule will be the new pitcher for the Bee Diggers. Alejandro Maltos Garcia is going to move from third to center, and Ben Garrett is now at third base. So those are your 3 changes for Brush. In the top of the 6th inning, with Sterling now trying to break this game open. They've scored 2 runs. They got 2 on. There's nobody out, and they are up by 4.
And don't look now, John, but the Tigers now have 7 hits to go against Brush's 9.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 7-hit margin earlier. Brush had 9 hits and Sterling had 2. But again, the one difference is that Brush didn't have as many timely hits. Well, the thing is that, yeah, they didn't have as many timely hits, and Sterling had 4 players that reached base to lead off an inning via the walk. And anytime that happens, it's almost like a base hit. That's why batting average is one thing, but we know on-base percentage is the real stat.
Especially at high school baseball. I don't put a lot of stock in batting average at this level. On-base percentage is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
How often do you get on base and give your team an opportunity to score runs? Infield in after the pitching change was runners at second and third. Castius Combs at the plate, nobody out. Combs 0 for 2 in this ball game. First pitch from Carson Rule misses high for ball one. As John mentioned, a few changes defensively. Rule on the hill. At third now, Ben Garrett, and in center field, Hondo Maltos Garcia. Combs showing bunt, runner breaking from third. That's the suicide squeeze, and it's going to work out for the Tigers. It'll be a successful sacrifice as Rule gets the out at first, but a perfectly executed suicide squeeze by the Tigers to make it a 7-2 ball game.
And a very nice play by the pitcher Carson Rule, ranging to his right, and he threw a laser to first. But again, as you mentioned, you play small ball. Castius Combs masterfully laid down that bunt. Laid it down, allowing the third run for Sterling to score.
Trevor Roush will chop one past the diving infield with him pulled in. It'll be an RBI single as Grayson Dudley touches home plate. Trevor Roush makes it an 8-2 ball game, and that's the downside to having the infield in. You don't have the same range that you normally do.
Yeah. Oh, that's a base hit. That's clearly a base hit right there. Yeah.
So Roush picks up his second hit of the ball game, drives in the run. It's an 8-2 Tiger lead, 4 runs in the top of the 6th. Chase Hume at the plate. Rule will fire one inside on the corner for a called strike. 8 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for Sterling, 2 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Brush. Here's the big difference, John. 9 left on for the Beat Diggers, 1 left aboard for Sterling.
Well, and one of the key plays was a base hit to right field, and where they scored a run, Brush did, and then Shelton was cut down at the plate, but they had to send him, and it's not bad base running. It was a great play by Dudley.
Runner takes off, ground ball to second, picked up by Shelton. Thought about going to second, instead goes to first to get Chase Hume. I like to call that an SOS, John, a sort of a sacrifice.
That's good.
That puts the runner to second.
And that was that was the right play by Shelton because the base runner was already
with
85% there.
Yeah, with Roush moving on the play, there was no way you get him there. And that, again, the Tigers stay out of the double play. That'll bring the top of the order back around. Dustin Ferguson at the plate. Pitch on the outside corner from Rule. 0-1. Ferguson, a walk and a fly out. Not to be confused with Waka Waka Waka, because this isn't the Muppet Show.
Or Miss Pac-Man. Oh, that's going to be a steal.
Trevor Roush, great jump on his way to third, strong throw. The umpire, the field umpire, never realized the runner was moving. He was watching the play at the plate, so he never even saw what happened at third. The home plate umpire wasn't looking either.
Well, I thought it was a straight-up steal. Yeah. It's a stolen base. I mean, the call's got to be made. But,
I mean, that's bad umpiring. You've got to pay attention to what's going on the field. I agree with you that it was a stolen base.
Now, let's see if it's 2 strikes, because that was the second pitch of the at-bat. It says 0-1, but it's either 1-1 or 0-2.
I think it was 1-1.
Okay.
I think, but I don't know.
We don't even know at this point.
I'm not even sure if the home plate umpire knows.
That should be that was the third pitch of the at-bat.
I have 2-1 on my score sheet, on my I score, but that doesn't mean anything. Pitch lashed foul, third base side. I've got 2 balls, 2 strikes. The home plate umpire checks his counter. He's got 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're right, Bull. I mean, that was a disaster.
1-2 pitch. Driven to left field. It will be caught on a nice sliding grab by Caden Schwint to end the inning. But the Tigers put 4 on the board. They lead at 8-2 heading to the bottom of the 6th on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. Bottom of the 6th inning. Tigers have made this a 6-run affair. They lead at 8-2. Chris Sherbarth, 82 pitches in, is going to try to at least finish up the 6th inning and see if maybe he's got enough juice and a few pitches left to make it to the 7th. He'll get 9, 1, and 2 for the Beat Diggers. Caden Schwint lays a bunt down, third base side of the mound. Great job by Chris Sherbarth to pop off the mound, field that, and fire it in one fluid motion to get the out.
Yeah, unfortunately for Caden, that was way, way too close to the mound, and it didn't have the effect he wanted.
Now batting, your pitcher, number 24.
Numbering Carson Rule, former center fielder, now pitcher, to the plate. Left-handed thrower, right-handed batter. Fouls one over the top of the screen. Carson 1 for 3 today. 8 hits for Sterling, 9 hits for Brush, but Sterling leading where it counts in the run column, up 8-2. 0-1 to Rule, again inside-out approach, and again lofts it fouling out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. These two teams will meet once again in Sterling later on this season in a league contest. The 0-2 from Sherbarth. Where's that? Just missed outside, 1-2.
Beat Diggers have done a nice job making contact against Sherbarth today. Hasn't racked up a lot of strikeouts.
The 1-2 pitch. There's a liner gloved on the dirt by Sherbarth for the second out of the inning.
Basically by his right shoe.
Man.
That's a shoe top line drive catch by Chris Sherbarth, and 2 down here in the 6th inning. Wow.
That's pure reaction right there. That's
yeah.
Throw the glove down and hope that you at least knock the ball down. Braxton Shelton 1 for 2 today with a single and a walk. He's also flown out to deep left center field. Trevor Roush made an exceptional running basket catch in the gap. First pitch was down and away for ball 1. 88 pitches for Sherbarth. Theoretically, if he can get out of this inning quickly, he'll have a chance to at least start the 7th inning. Although with them up 6, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Squire goes to the bullpen for 1 inning. 2-0 the count on Shelton. Pitch looks less like a strike than the pitch previous, but it's called a strike. 2-1. 2-1 pitch. That one's driven out to left field, pushing back Roush towards the fence, still on his horse. It'll get over his head and bang off the bottom of the fence. Strong throw in, just ahead of the throw is Braxton Shelton. I think that was a little closer at second than he anticipated. Good job by the Tigers to hurry that ball back in.
Nick Wellen.
Oh, he really laced that one. But again, it came with 2 outs and nobody on. Brush has gotten a lot of hits, but they're not coming at the most opportune times.
Nick Wellen will watch a pitch high and away for ball 1 from Sherbarth. Wellen 1 for 3. He's reached on an error, flown out, and is singled today. He'll drive one to deep center field. Back goes Ferguson. On the way, he makes the grab, and that'll do it for the Beat Diggers in the bottom of the 6th inning. They get a 2-out double, but no score. 8-2 Tigers heading to the 7th on 105.7 KPMX. 2-ball game, top of the 7th inning. Tigers will look to stretch their 6-run lead as Neil Diamond plays on the PA system. It's my favorite song of all time, by the way. Sweet Caroline.
Oh, it is? It doesn't have to be the 7th at Fenway, then.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Caden Sheets, Daniel Thiessen, Chris Sherbarth, 2, 3, and 4 for the Tigers against Carson Rule, who needed 10 pitches to get out of the 6th inning.
The stunning thing here is that Sterling has only stranded 2. Brush has stranded 10 runners through 6 innings.
That is insane. That's why we love baseball, right? Swing and a miss by Sheets, 0-1. Sometimes the numbers that happen with this game boggle the mind. The 0-1 offering, down in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. And when you really get deep into numbers, you know, sabermetrics and all that stuff,
yeah.
it even more blows the brain. The 1-1 pitch fouled back by Sheets. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top of the 7th inning. Tigers 3 outs away from an 8-1 start to the year before they start league play this week. 1-2 pitch grounded back to the mound, knocked down by Rule. Scoops it back up, tosses it to first to get Caden Sheets for out number 1.
Yeah, that 4-run 6th inning has changed this game altogether. It was still very competitive all the way until the Tigers really exploded 1 inning ago with 4 runs on 4 hits.
Daniel Thiessen at the plate, tried to check his swing on a curveball from Carson Rule and could not. The body said swing, the mind said no, and they couldn't meet in the middle. The 0-1 count on Thiessen, who's 1 for 2 today with a strikeout, a walk, and a single. Pitch way outside. 1-1 the count.
By the way, we got a poll question coming up next week. What's better, have a great day or enjoy your next 24 hours?
Ooh. The 1-1 pitch finds the inside corner from Rule. 1-2.
Yeah.
One sounds slightly more threatening than the other.
Oh, there's no doubt. No doubt about
Enjoy
that.
your next 24 hours. The 1-2 pitch, another check swing roller, this time the third base side foul. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes on Daniel Thiessen. As John mentioned, the 2 left on for Sterling, the 10 left aboard for Brush. Sterling's been out hit 10-8, but they lead 8-2. Rule's 1-2 pitch to Thiessen. He'll smoke one back up the middle. It gets past the outstretched gloves of both Carson Rule and Nick Wellen and into center field for a base hit. John, good news. It does appear that the wind has died down.
Yes.
Chris Sherbarth.
That helps.
Chris Sherbarth steps in, 1 for 3. He had a solid single to right his last time up. Left on left. Carson Rule's first pitch is high for ball 1. Rule tosses over to first. Thiessen, not even 2 steps off the bag, gets back in. Ben Garrett playing up on the grass at third. Double play depth up the middle for the Beat Diggers. Wooldridge holding the runner on at first. The 1-0 offering finds the outer edge from Rule. 1 ball and 1 strike. Even though the wind has died down, the outfield still playing in a few steps. The 2-1 looked to be in the same spot as, or the 1-1, excuse me. 2-1. Now, after that pitch was called a ball, a pitch after being called a strike. The toss over. Again, Thiessen with a short lead at first easily gets back.
Sterling's been kept off the board in only 1 inning today, the 3rd, and Brush has scored in only 1 inning, the 4th.
2-1 swing and a miss. That was a home run swing from Chris Sherbarth.
Yeah, but if he makes contact with that pitch, it's about 100 feet foul because he was
yeah.
twisting himself out of the box.
The 2-2 pitch from Rule, poked at off the end of the bat. Nice job by Rule to stab that one. He goes to second for 1, on to first, not in time, gets away from Wooldridge. Sherbarth thought about trying to go to second, but realized once it took a bounce off that fencing in front of the dugout that he had no chance of advancing a base. So the fielder's choice, 1-6 on the putout. And a runner on at first with 2 away, and Drew Book will get another opportunity. A walk, a single, and a walk.
Now batting number 22, Drew Book.
Rule tosses over to first. And a courtesy runner at first for Chris Sherbarth. That's Brock Burkholder that's running.
Yeah, I think Rule actually thinks he's got a better shot of getting Burkholder as a base runner than Book as a hitter.
It may not be an inaccurate statement, John. First pitch is a fastball high and out of the zone to Book for ball 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. If you can get that cheap out without having to retire Book, who's a very good hitter, and he had a home run against Alamosa today, why not?
He's homered in 2 straight games, as a matter of fact. Fouls one down the right field line. It'll hook out of play, 1-1. 9 runs batted in for Drew Book over the last 2 days. Had 13 coming into today. Added 3 more, so 16 runs batted in on the year. Pitch finds the inside corner on a breaking ball from Rule. 1-2. Almost had some screwball-like action on it. Short lead for Burkholder, the 1-2. Swing and a miss. That doesn't happen often. Drew Book down swinging against Carson Rule to end the top of the 7th. Tigers hold a 6-run advantage, 8-2. Bottom of the 7th next on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. A new pitcher for the Tigers and some changes defensively to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Sterling up 8-2 over the Brush Beat Diggers in the finale of this 2-day Brush tournament. Tigers defeating Bayfield 12-9 last night and dropping Alamosa earlier today. I don't remember what the score was in that Alamosa game, John. Do you?
14-4. With
no,
Sterling
6-2. 6-2. Thank you. Logan Bowler will take over on the hill for the Tigers. Trevor Roush moves from left field to second. Dustin Ferguson shifts over from center field to left field, and the former pitcher Chris Sherbarth will take over in center field. Logan Bowler, a 1.62 ERA, 4 1/3 innings of work. He's given up 2 runs, only 1 earned on 5 hits. Has walked 3 and struck out 4. He did work a couple of innings last night against Bayfield.
Now batting, number 15, Ben Garrett.
Ben Garrett will step in. Logan Bowler went 2 1/3 innings yesterday against Bayfield, but needed just 32 pitches to do it, so he's got an opportunity to pitch here in this one. He misses outside to Garrett for ball 1. Bowler winds and delivers. Swing and a miss by Garrett. 1 ball and 1 strike. A technically sound windup and delivery from Logan Bowler. He spikes one in the dirt that goes off of the catcher, Drew Book. 2-1 the count on Ben Garrett. 2 for 3 with a pair of singles in his last 2 trips to the plate after he grounded out to start the ballgame. 2-1 pitch. Chopper towards short. Picked up on the good hop by Caden Sheets. He tosses it on 1 hop over to first. It's Daniel Thiessen with the scoop to retire Garrett. 1 away, bases cleared for Hondo Montos Garcia. Alejandro.
Good job. Sterling has committed the game's only error today. That's the ironic thing. Brush has played some clean baseball defensively, and they've had issues defensively this season, but not today. They just have faced a team that's executed at the timely moments.
Montos Garcia with a big swing, no contact for strike 1. Hondo a fly out, a single, and a line out today. The lone error was committed by the third baseman Chase Hume on a hard 3-hopper to third. He played it off his chest and couldn't get the runner at first. There's a slow roller back up the middle. Picked up off the shoe tops by Sheets. The throw to first in time. Daniel Thiessen got the out.
Well, apparently the Brush fans thought that he pulled his foot.
Well, because they're looking at the first base coach for Brush, who's trying to influence the call of the umpire, by indicating he was safe.
Yeah, I thought he was out, but then again, the only way he was not out is if his foot was off the bag. And perhaps there's a positioning issue there with the umpire.
I don't know. 2 away, bases empty. Bryson Woldridge at the plate. Pitch on the outside corner for a called strike.
Bowler's bringing some heat here.
Bowler's been very, very good in limited opportunities so far this season, further highlighting the depth that Sterling has on the pitching hill this season. Swinging a foul tip into the glove by Woldridge. He's down 0-2, and the Beat Diggers are down to their last strike. 8-2 Sterling, bottom of the 7th. Bowler winds and delivers. Swing and a miss in the dirt, picked up by Book. He'll toss it down to first to retire Woldridge. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Logan Bowler, and the Tigers win this one 8-2 over the Brush Beat Diggers, and they sweep this Brush tournament, defeating Bayfield, Alamosa, and Brush Friday through Saturday. Post-game show next on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com.
That's a line.
Welcome to the Tiger Post-Game Show, brought to you by Cargill Meat Solutions, providing well-paying positions to skilled workers in the community. Learn more at Cargill.com with their online-only application process. Tigers down Brush 8-2 in this final game of this 2-day tournament. 8 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 3 left on for Sterling. 2 runs, 10 hits, no errors, 10 left on for Brush. I'm Bill Brom alongside John Beltran. And John, I think we talked about it during the course of the game. The discrepancy between the runners left on between these two teams, 3 for Sterling, 10 for Brush. Both teams had ample opportunities to score runs, but it was Sterling who came through in those clutch situations. Brush couldn't ever really seem to find that big base hit when they needed it.
Well, they did for just that one inning when they had 5 of their 10 hits in the fourth, but that was the only inning that they string hits together, which was the only inning they were able to score. And that combined with the fact that the starter, Chris Sherbarth, allowed just 2 walks, while Ben Garrett, the Brush starter, had 5 walks. 4 of those were leadoff walks. And again, a leadoff walk is like a hit. The Bean Diggers only out hit the Tigers 10-9. At one point, that was a 9-2 discrepancy. So the bottom line remains is that even though Sterling was out hit, they did put together, they strung together those hits, particularly in the 6th inning when they scored the 4 runs. And you can tack on more base runners because of the walks to leadoff innings. And with the Bean Diggers unable to generate really a lot of 2-out hits, thus the 10 stranded runners, they lost this game and fall to 5-4.
Chris Sherbarth gets the win for the Tigers. He went 6 innings, gave up both runs, both earned on 10 hits, walked a pair, struck out 3. Meanwhile, the loss belongs to Ben Garrett. For Ben, he went 5 innings, gave up 8 runs, all earned on 7 hits, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He also balked twice and had a pair of wild pitches that were quite costly as well. And again, something that Sterling's done all season, and you saw it here again today. Their aggressiveness on the base paths helped lead to runs.
God, they can run the base as well.
Oh man, they do, and they will, and that's something that they preach and they practice. It's not just stolen bases; it's going first to third on base hits. It's early breaks to try to induce confusion on the pitcher, things like that. They're a very aggressive team on the base paths, and that's how they're going to win a lot of games, I think.
Well, that's why Sterling is a state contender. They're a state title contender, and you got a lot of good teams in the Patriot League, including Brush, but the Bean Diggers are very young, and they are building, and I don't think this is a rebuilding season necessarily for Brush. A rebuilding season would basically equal a season where you win about 9 or 10 games and lose about 13. I think Brush can put together enough where they have double-digit wins and maybe 10, 11, 12 wins. I shouldn't say 10, but more than that. But for Sterling, you're looking at a team that if they continue to play ball in this 23-game season, they could win about 20 games. You still got University. You still have Resurrection Christian. You still have Eaton again. You still got Platte Valley. You still got Brush again. But Sterling's looking awful strong, and they demonstrated that as well with some deep pitching in this tournament.
Our player of the game brought to you by Mr. D's Home Center. As you get ready for the warmer weather, your yard becomes your pride and joy. Get all the lawn care tools you need, mowers to fertilizer, even lawn furniture in Sterling, Brush, and Fort Morgan. I don't know about you, John, but I think Caden Sheets had a heck of a ball game offensively and defensively. He was 2 for 4 with a run batted in at the plate, but I thought he made some very good plays defensively at shortstop.
No doubt about that. He had some tough chances, were able to make the plays, had some clutch hits, and there's no doubt that Caden Sheets, only a sophomore, is going to be getting better and better for this Sterling team, who's been very good so far in 2019.
Once again, the final line score in this one, 8 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for Sterling. They left 3 runners on, 2 runs, 10 hits, no errors for Brush. They left 10 aboard. Our upcoming schedule for KPMX and KPMX.com, Sterling will be at Valley on Tuesday the 9th at 4 p.m., and then they'll host Resurrection Christian next Thursday, April 11th at 4 p.m. as well. Both of those are non-league games. Sterling won't begin their league schedule until the following week. John, as for the KSIR listeners, what do you have for Brush?
Bean Diggers will take on the Lyman Badgers Tuesday at 4 o'clock right here in Brush. And then 4 o'clock, 4:15, they will be in Englewood against the Ken Denver Sun Devils. Kevin Ferguson, Evan James will have the call of that particular game, and they are off next weekend. So 2 games coming up this week, and then we get into the heart of the Patriot League schedule, particularly a week from Thursday when they take on the Platte Valley Broncos here on the 18th. But 2 games this week. Tuesday on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com at 4 o'clock against Lyman, and 4:15 Thursday on the road against Ken Denver.
Studio engineer and producer Chris Gross back at the studios. Big thanks to him for his help today, and a big thanks to you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. For John Beltran, I'm Chris Braun. The Tigers defeat the Beet Diggers 8-2 on this windy Saturday afternoon. This has been Tiger Baseball on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com.